Hi, welcome to Teletour. I'm Himanshu from Delhi Bicycle, and right now we are in New Delhi, India. And today we are going to take you guys to Old Delhi and to one of the most famous streets of Old Delhi, known as Chandni Chowk. So let's go explore some amazing highlights of this street and the stories. So, our first stop today is actually Red Fort, from where we started. This fort was constructed by Shah Jahan, the same guy who constructed Taj Mahal. So by 1630s, he wanted to move his capital from Agra to New Delhi, and for that he needed a completely new fort, a completely new city. Yes, exactly the same period of time when he started the construction of Taj Mahal. So he constructed this fort for almost 3,000 people to live inside the fort. This fort is said to be one of the most important forts strategically for India, that any army which occupies this fort runs the nation. So first it was Mughal army, then it was British army, and then the Indian army used to occupy the Red Fort till the time in 2007. This fort became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is also a really important ritual over here, that the first Prime Minister of India hosted the flag of independent India by the midnight of 15th of August from that flag post over there. So now it's an important ritual for all the Prime Ministers to be over here on 15th of August every year, to come over here and do the flag hosting as a memory. So now we are going to walk towards Chandni Chowk, and first few monuments which you can see behind me is the red Jain temple and a white Hindu temple. The Jain temple was constructed almost in 1650s, so this is one of the oldest Jain temples in Delhi. And right next to the Jain temple, it's a white temple which is a Hindu temple, Shiva temple, which was constructed by the central India rulers Marathas somewhere around in 1700. So we'll go nearby, explore those temples and check out the lane and streets of Chandni Chowk. So, the red temple which we can see behind us is a Jain temple which was established in 1640s by the Jain soldiers of the Mughal army. So that's how this temple came in picture over here. And the recent structure which we can see was constructed around 1930s by the Jain community of Delhi. So this is one of the oldest Jain temples, and inside they have some statues which are as old as 1400. So really important place for worship for the people who follow the Jain religion. Right next to that we have a Shiva temple which was constructed by the Marathas, the central Indian Hindu rulers, who had a really hard influence around mid 1700 over Delhi. And that's how we got this temple over here, one of the oldest temples in Chandni Chowk. Let's go. So now we are standing outside one of the heritage buildings of Old Delhi, which was constructed in 1806 and was used as the court for the English officers living over here. Later on, the Bank of Delhi bought this property in 1847, and since then it's been a bank. For a short period of time, this building also served as the Reserve Bank of India, and now it is one of the branches of the biggest banks of India, State Bank of India. There's another interesting story, that in 1857, when the revolt of 1857 happened, or the mutiny of 1857, the banker's family, along with the wife and 5 daughters, who were killed by the rebels in the basement of this bank, which makes it sometimes a bit haunted, but yes, there are stories around it. So let's go around and check rest of the structures on Chandni Chowk. So on this one single street, we have more than 5 major religions and their places of worship. So this somehow shows that, what kind of diverse people used to live over here, and they really used to believe in the secular values. So on this one single street, we have a Jain temple, a Hindu temple. We are right now standing outside a Baptist church. Then we have a big Gurudwara or a Sikh temple, and right next to that we also have a mosque. So, Paji nu pani chahiye? Wait. जी पाजी, दिल्ली जाएं।
बहुत बढ़िया, अच्छी बात है, बहुत बढ़िया।
और चाहिए
गुरुद्वारे दर्शन करके
बिल्कुल. So right outside the church, we just had a really small conversation with Nihang. Nihangs are actually the warrior tribe of the Sikh religion, and that's why you saw that they had a completely different dress. So as I told you, that this is one of the oldest Baptist churches in North India, to be honest, which was constructed in 1814. behind the statues and everything, we have the boards written in Urdu. So it also shows that how people were really tolerant towards the local customs and rituals, that even a Christian church has walls written in Urdu. So it's really interesting about Chandni Chowk. So now we are walking towards Shishganj Gurudwara, which was constructed over here because the 9th Sikh Guru out of 10 Sikh Gurus, he was beheaded over here on the orders of the Mughal king Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb is the son of Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan is the guy who constructed Taj Mahal. Really important pilgrimage for the people who follow Sikh religion. The current structure was constructed later on in 1760s and later on in 1900 as well. The domes on the top, which you can see, are actually gold, and inside they have a kitchen where you get free food for as many people as you want, and every single day they serve free food for almost 5 to 7,000 people, and on weekends it may go up to 15,000. So that's how we have this really beautiful structure over here, Gurudwara Shishganj Sahib. So now we are standing right outside the fountain where the Sikh Guru, the 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, was beheaded on 11th of November 1675 by the orders of the Mughal king Aurangzeb. This is the exact place where he was beheaded for standing for the truth and his devotion for his people. Right next to this we can also see the police station, which used to be the police station where he was kept before he was beheaded over here. And out of all these things, suddenly we can again see the diversification of religion over here and the kind of tolerance which people have. Right next to the Sikh Gurudwara we have the mosque, which is known as Sunehri Masjid, or the Golden Mosque, which literally stands for it. Here we can see that how the religions really coexist in crowded places like Old Delhi and Chandni Chowk. Here's a really interesting story about this Golden Mosque, Sunehri Masjid, that in 1739, one of the invaders from Iran, his name was Nadir Shah. He came over here, he invaded Old Delhi, and in one single day, he killed 30,000 people. And he was standing right on the roof over there. So it's a really interesting story that how he was standing over there, overlooking his army, just killing and butchering the people of Old Delhi, and in one single day they killed 30,000 people. That's a big number. And that's how we can imagine that it is also said that he looted Delhi, he plundered this city so much that when he went back to his country was tax-free for 3 years. It took him almost 400 elephants, more than 3,000 camels, and more than 12,000 horses to took all the money back and all the jewelries, gold, whatever you can imagine, back to his country. So that's how rich this Old Delhi used to be. So right behind me, maybe over there, you can see a clock tower. Oh, you missed it because we demolished it around 1960s. So yes, there used to be a clock tower right over here, which is no more, which was constructed around the British era. And right now we are standing outside the town hall, again a British era structure with the statue of Swami Shraddhanand, one of the freedom fighters. So right now we are standing, you can say, right in the middle of the Chandni Chowk street, exactly between the two ends. And Town Hall is a British era structure which is now under use by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Not that in great shape, but still a heritage structure. Let's go. So now we are walking right outside the Haveli of Seth Chunamal, who was one of the richest merchants of Old Delhi around 1800. He was so rich that to fight the British in 1857, even the Mughal king, the last Mughal king, Bahadur Shah Zafar, he asked for a loan from this guy, and instead of helping the Mughal king, the last Mughal king, he helped the British. Later on, he became one of the richest merchant of Old Delhi. Even this mansion or Haveli is one of the biggest in Old Delhi with almost 168 rooms, more than 16 corridors, and whatever inside you can imagine. Still, some of the family members are living over here, but most of them are now settled abroad. You know why. So that's how this beautiful Haveli from inside, you can have some glimpse. And also, this Haveli is ready for sale. So if you guys want to buy, let me know, I can break the deal. So now we are at the other end of Chandni Chowk. And we started from the Red Fort and we reached Fatepuri Masjid, which is right in front of us. And this is where the Chandni Chowk ends, 1.5 kilometer long lane. And this mosque, which was constructed by one of the wives of Shah Jahan, who was from Fatehpur Sikri, so that's why we call this mosque Fatepuri Masjid, was constructed in 1650s. This is one of the few royal mosques remaining in Old Delhi or Chandni Chowk. So really interesting story that in the revolt of 1857 or the mutiny of 1857, when the British kicked out almost the whole Muslim population of Old Delhi, this mosque was sold to the same guy, yes, the merchant which I was talking about, Said Chunamal. So this was sold to that guy for 19,000 rupees, and for next 25 years there was no Muslim population living in Old Delhi. So that's how when they came back, they got this mosque back, and the British government gave this mosque back to the community. So it's been almost 25 years. For the years this mosque was not with the Muslim people and it was locked, owned by a Hindu merchant, and he saved this mosque for almost 25 years for the people to come back and get this mosque back. So now we'll go on a rooftop in the spice market and check out the last stop of our tour. So it's been really interesting walking all the way from Red Fort to Fatepuri Masjid and going on the last rooftop to check out the kind of bird's eye view. Let's go. So finally we are about to end our tour at Garodia Market, which is on Khari Bauli, one of the biggest wholesale spice market streets in Asia. And this market was constructed by Lakshmi Narayan Garodia in 1940s as one of the biggest spice markets, which you can still feel over here in the smell always. So that's how this beautiful rooftop is over here where we're about to end the tour. And we started this tour all the way from Red Fort over there, which you can see, and we walked along the street and we walked almost 2 kilometers looking at all those impressions, expressions, churches, temples, gurudwaras and whatnot. And we almost ended our tour over here, Fatepuri Masjid, again a mosque which was constructed by one of the wives of Shah Jahan. So that's how we have this beautiful mosque over here. Also in the shadows over there you can see Jama Masjid, which is again one of the biggest mosques in India, constructed by the same guy, Shah Jahan, for almost 25,000 people to do the prayers together. So that's how this beautiful street, Chandni Chowk, was constructed, was made, one of the biggest and best designed cities in India, and in 1640s. So we are about to end our tour now. It was a really beautiful journey. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's tell you tour again.